Hi, this is Cindy Pope at the Cool Tools Studio. I wanted to show you some different techniques for sifting powder coat onto metal. So I wanted to show you the tools that you'll need for powder coating. You need some heat-resistant gloves. You need some Teflon. These Teflons are both heat-resistant, and they're going to be going into a toaster oven, which you need. If you're using a toaster oven, you need a temperature gauge because you need to make sure that you're at the right temperature. You also need some little stirrers, and you'll see in the video why. And I like to have a scalpel, cross-lock pliers, and there's some new sifters that Cool Tools has that come from 1 1/4 inch down to 1/2 inch. You need something to hang your earrings on when they come out of the oven. You need some brass wire to hang them from. I like these brass pendants and brass blanks that Cool Tools has. They have like a giant selection. Or pieces that you don't like and you want to add color to, or heat patina pieces. I always love tiles. I think they're very helpful. A spatula to take your things in and out of the oven. And I like this torch stand, but I put it upside down so I have more surface space, and you'll see with sifting how I use that. And the last thing I like to use, this is heat-resistant tape, and you use this for masking off parts of your piece that you don't want to powder coat. Okay, we're going to do a new project with powder coating, and I'm going to show you sifting. And in order to have this set up, I have the shorter torch stand, I have a black Teflon, and a regular Teflon, and these are both heat resistant up to 500 degrees, and we're cooking in the oven at 400 degrees, so that's going to be perfect. First thing I need to do is I need to clean the metal. You really want to have a nice clean surface, and I'm using denatured alcohol. And I want these both to be slightly under the circle because I'm going to use the heat gun up through the grate. And I'm using 2 colors, and I chose matte white and matte black, which I really love. And I've got a sifter for each, and I've got a stirrer for each. And I'm going to put on my mask, and I'm using a heat gun too. So the first thing you need to do is you need to stir, and this is the black. And I'm going to make 1 black and 1 white, and then I'm going to do a little sifting. And we're stirring, even though we're not dipping, we're still going to stir to make sure all the components are nicely mixed up. And I have a 3/4 inch sifter. I'm going to get a little on there, and now I'm going to heat the surface. So I'm going to heat it the first time from above. And I want my jar a little far away because I don't want the heat to get in the jar. And heat guns are very hot, so be careful. And powder coating usually needs heat to stick, so you want to give it a good heating before you sift. And I love these sifters. They're really fabulous. And so I'm going to cover the whole thing, and you can do lots of different colors. I have imagined many different designs for this particular pendant. It's really cool. And so what I'm going to do once I've got it on there is I'm going to heat from underneath. And what that does, I'm going to move it back a little bit. What that does is it starts to cure the powder, and I can see if I missed any spots. And this is a cool thing that Hadar Jacobson told me. She has some students that almost fully cure their pieces without putting them in the oven, just to make sure what it's going to look like. So it's starting to get black there and not look powdery as it's going across. So I think I'm going to give it 1 more sift. I really like sifting. I think you can really see what's happening. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sift a little white on it also. And so in order to do that, I need to stir my white. And this is matte white. And in some projects, I think a matte is really called for. And then I'm just going to sift a little bit around the outsides. And now I'm going to do the other side, and I'm going to make this one white, and I'm going to sift black on top. And this is a very cool, I think, cool artsy brass pendant. As soon as I saw it, I knew I had to have it. And I'm sifting pretty close to the piece. I'm thinking I want to make a really colorful version too. So I'm going to again heat from underneath just to see that I don't have any spots that look like they need more powder. And I'm seeing I might need a little bit more powder right there in the edges. This would be really cool without any extra sifting. It's really beautiful. And so now I'm going to sift a little black on it. And if you want really specific detail, you can use line sifters that you use for enameling with the same technique. So I'm going to again heat from underneath. You can also lift it up and heat. Okay, I've finished with my sifting and I'm happy with it. So now I'm going to put it in the oven at 400 degrees for 10 minutes. And I'm using a clay scraper to lift the two Teflons. And there we go. And I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes. Okay, we're done with our curing time. So let's go ahead and move this out. Let me pull this out a little bit. Going to move it onto the tile. And they cool pretty quickly, maybe a minute or two. So when you sift, you're going to have a lacy edge that cures around your piece. So you just need to pick it up and just peel it off. Now, some people save this lacy edge and they use it in another piece. And in my class, I will show how to do that. I'm going to sand the edges a little bit off the side. And I'll show them to you once they have their ear wires on. Okay, I'm going to put my mask on. And now I'm going to show you sifting onto these honeycomb blanks. And first thing I'm going to do, as always, is I'm going to clean my metal so I get a nice, even powder coat. And then I'm going to do something different with these. These have a really beautiful gold finish. So I am not going to cover all of it. I'm going to only cover some of it. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to use something that's called heat masking tape. And they don't have to be the same on both sides, but I have an issue with things being the same. So I'm just going to take the tape and even them. This one's not quite even. Let me even it up. And when you put the tape on, you can really easily see if it's even-ish. So I'm going to cut this off. And what this is heat-resistant tape that can be on it while it's curing. And so I'm going to powder coat and I'm going to sift, and it's only going to go on this part. So now I'm ready to go. So I'm going to get my powder coat ready to go. And what I'm doing is I'm fluffing it by stirring until it's really soft and it's easy to put my stirrer through, because that way I'm getting all the components together. And this is a really stunning color. I cannot wait to show it to you. Then I'm going to heat up and then use my sifter. I'm going to start by heating from the top. And what I'm looking for is I'm looking for it being hot enough to have the powder adhere to it. Then I'm also going to heat from underneath too. A little bit more on top. And then I'm going to sift. I have a 3/4 inch sifter that is available at Cool Tools in many different sizes. And now I'm just going to sift over, and you see it's not adhering where the tape is. And I'm trying to make sure I get it everywhere, so I don't want any gold showing through. And now I'm going to heat from underneath to get it to cure a little bit before I put it in the oven. And I can lift this up, so I'm going to get a little bit more heat. And it'll start to cure, so you'll see it start to darken and solidify. And now I'm going to put it in the oven. 375 degrees is the temperature for this particular powder coat. I'm going to use my clay scraper to pick it up. And place it in the oven. 375 degrees for 15 minutes. Okay, we're going to remove the tape. You can see the gold is showing, and I actually have silver in the holes, and I may keep some of that in the holes, or I may drill it out. But I love the look of this chrome. It's really stunning. Okay, so I've cleaned up these ones, and I've put silver ear wires with gold-filled balls on them, and I think they look beautiful. My black and white matte powder-coated faces are done, and I'm really in love with them. Thanks for joining me today at the Cool Tools Studio. Enjoy your powder coating.